NIOS welcomes you in this educational video for political science subject. Code number is 317. This video is for senior secondary level. We will be doing lesson number 14. Name of the lesson is State Legislature. We will understand in detail all about the state legislature, how it works and how it is beneficial for our country. This video is part 1. Let us first begin with the difficult terms from this lesson. All these terms are taken from the same lesson. You can see the word and image. On one side you can see the Indian political map, and on the other side you can see the word union. In India we have union government. In this we have 28 states and 8 union territories. Now you can see the image. You can see the union word means center. It is the more powerful government than the state government. We all know that state government means we have different states, so each state has its own government, and union government is more powerful than the state government. Here you can see the image of legislature. Legislature is the law-making body. It is the responsibility of the legislature to make new laws as per need of the situation and society. This word is unicameral legislature. It means only one house exists to make laws. Uni means one, so when there is only one house and that is the only house responsible for everything, so we call it as unicameral legislation. Now this word is indicating bicameral legislature. It means when there is a division of legislature into two houses, means when the two houses are responsible for making any law or making any modifications, for agreement, for disagreement, when both the houses are consulted and the laws are made, so we call it as bicameral legislature. The name of the two houses are lower and the upper house. Here let us understand the lower house and the upper house. Lower house members are directly elected by the citizens. That means they are the house of the people. We call them Lok Sabha. Also, we call them as Vidhan Sabha members, or in English we call them State Legislative Assembly. So, lower house and upper house, both you can see and understand. Let us now understand the Legislative Assembly, which is known as Vidhan Sabha. On the other side, let us say Legislative Council, which is known as Vidhan Parishad. Legislative Assembly is the lower house of the state legislature. On the other side, Legislative Council is the upper house of the state legislature. So these two are different terms. Let us now understand the legislature. In India, we have union level legislature, which is parliament, and along with that we have state level legislature, which is state legislature. Parliament consists of three main groups. The first is President, then Lok Sabha, and then third is Rajya Sabha. On the other side, if we talk about the state level, then state legislature consists of governor, then Vidhan Sabha, and then Vidhan Parishad. So union level and state level are two different legislatures. Let us now understand the bicameralism. In this, we have union level and state level. We know that union level is the parliament and the state level is the state legislature. So both together makes bicameral system. Let us now see the bicameral legislature. In India, we have different states and each state has its own government. Here you can see the word universal adult franchise. In India, all adults who are 18 plus, they can vote to elect their representatives irrespective of their caste, religion, race, gender, place of birth, or economic status. Voters list. In a democratic election, the list of those who are eligible to vote is prepared much before the election and given to everyone, which is officially called the electoral roll and is commonly known as the voters list. Let us now understand constituency. In constituency, it is one of the official area of country that elects someone to represent it in a parliament or legislature. On the other hand, single member constituencies means from each constituency the people elect one representative only, who then become a member of legislative assembly. This word is office of profit. It is a position that brings to the person holding it some financial gain or advantage or benefit. Anglo-Indian, a citizen of mixed Indian and through the paternal line European ancestry. There are three words on screen. The first word is summon, which means calling all the members of the parliament or state legislature to meet, to come and have a meeting. So we call it as summon. Second is prorogue. It is a discontinuing of the sessions of the parliament or state legislature without dissolving it. And then third last word is dissolve. It is the formal term for the end of the parliament or state legislative assembly. This word is proclamation of emergency. Period of governance under an altered constitutional setup that can be proclaimed by the President of India when they perceive grave threats to the nation from internal or external sources or from financial situations of crisis. So these are the articles mentioned in our constitution, so that whenever in case of any emergency, all these can be followed. This word is casting vote. It is an extra vote given by a chairperson to decide an issue when the votes on each side are equal to resolve a tied vote. So the chairperson has to decide and cast a vote so that that problem of equal vote can be solved. By election. Sometimes elections are held only for one constituency to fill a vacancy caused by death or resignation of a member. So during that time, by election is helpful. Privileges. These are the emoluments and allowances. So far we have understood the new terms and concepts from the lesson. From now here onwards, we will understand the objectives of the lesson. The first objective is to describe the composition of Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad. Also, the next objective is to recall qualifications of the members of Legislature. The third objective is we will be able to explain powers and functions of state legislature. The fourth objective is we will be able to examine relationship between both the houses and further, the fifth objective is we will be able to highlight that Vidhan Sabha is more powerful than the Vidhan Parishad. So these are the 5 objectives we will understand in this video. Let us get started with the point number 14.1. This is composition of the state legislature. We already have understood that there are 2 kinds of government. The first is unicameralism and the second is bicameralism. In unicameralism, you can see and understand with the help of the diagrams shown on the screen. In bicameral and unicameral, both are different. With the 3 points which I mentioned below the bicameral, we can easily understand the system, and on the other side, 2 points below the unicameralism explains both the concepts. So both are different. Now here you can see the union level and the state level are the 2 different terms. The union level is Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. But on the other side, state level is Vidhan Sabha. This is more powerful than Vidhan Parishad. So we should understand that there are certain high and low parties in both. We will take a break here.
प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर। दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बांट,
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने।
Let us get started after the break. We were discussing about the Legislative Assembly, Vidhan Sabha. A legislative assembly is in every state. It represents the people of state. And members are directly elected through universal adult franchise. Members are elected from territorial constituencies, and every state is divided into as many single members constituencies as the number of members required to be elected. seats are reserved for SCs and in some states for STs also. This depends on population of these weaker sections in the state. Let us now understand the qualification of a member of Vidhan Sabha. There are certain qualifications which are required to be a member of Vidhan Sabha. The first important requirement is to be a citizen of India. The next important eligibility condition is the candidate should have attained the age of 25 years. And the third eligibility is as the candidate's name must be in the voters list. Next important eligibility is that candidate must not hold any office of profit, means candidate should not be a government servant. The number of Vidhan Sabha members cannot be more than 500 and not less than 60. Very small states have been allowed to have lesser number of members. Thus, Goa has only 40 members in its assembly. Similarly, UP is a bigger place, so they have member 403 members. The governor can nominate one member of Anglo-Indian community if this community is not adequately represented in the House. So in that case, governor has the power to nominate one member. Let us now understand the tenure of Vidhan Sabha. Tenure of Vidhan Sabha is 5 years, but the governor can dissolve it before the completion of its term on the advice of Chief Minister. May be dissolved by the President in case of constitutional emergency proclaimed under Article 356. In case of proclamation of national emergency, under Article 352, the Parliament can extend the terms of the Legislative Assembly for a period not exceeding 1 year at a time. The presiding officer is the Speaker. Member of the Vidhan Sabha elect their presiding officer, and that presiding officer is the Speaker of the Vidhan Sabha. Presides over the meeting of the House and conducts its proceedings. That presiding officer maintains order in the House, also allows the members to ask questions and speak. Also, the presiding officer puts bills and other measures to vote and announces the result of voting. The presiding officer does not necessarily or ordinarily vote at a time of voting. However, he may exercise casting vote in case of tie only. Let us understand the meaning of a tie. A tie means that equal number of members have voted in favor and against a bill or resolution. So to break the tie, casting vote is exercised by the presiding officer of the Legislative Assembly. The Deputy Speaker presides over the meeting during the absence of the Speaker. So we have already understood about the Vidhan Sabha, and here we will be talking about the Vidhan Parishad. This is the upper house of the state legislature. This is not in existence in very state, and it is the legacy of the British period. The Parliament can create Vidhan Parishad if the Vidhan Sabha passes a resolution to this effect by a majority of the total membership of the Assembly and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of the Assembly present and voting, and sends the resolution to the Parliament. Similarly, if a state has a council and the assembly wants it to be abolished, it may adopt a resolution by similar majority and send it to Parliament. In this situation, Parliament resolves to abolish the concerned legislative council. Accordingly, councils of Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal were abolished. The total number of members in the Vidhan Parishad of a state should not exceed 1/3 of the total number of members of Vidhan Sabha. But this number also should not be less than 40. The Jammu and Kashmir was an exceptional state where Vidhan Parishad had 36 members. We already discussed about the bicameral legislature. We know that we have 6 states. You can see the name of those 6 states. They all have the bicameral legislatures. Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, they all have bicameral legislature. We will take a break here.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो
संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का
अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत
कोई मन चाहा दिन चुने हम अपना जीत स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने कोई मन चाहा दिन चुने
Let us continue. We were discussing about the Vidhan Parishad. Let us now understand the qualification of a member of Vidhan Parishad. In order to be a member of the Legislative Council, the person needs to be citizen of India. Also, the person has to have attained the age of 30 years and be a registered voter in the state. Along with that, the concerned person should not hold any office of profit. The member of the Vidhan Parishad is partly elected and partly nominated. Most of the Vidhan Parishad members are indirectly elected in accordance with the principle of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote system. And different categories of members represent different interests. You can see the image and easily understand the proportional representation, which is a type of voting system which is used for elections in which parties can gain seats in proportion of the members. So in the single transferable vote system, a multi-winner electoral system in which each voter casts a single vote in the form of a rank choice ballot, that is used. In this, each member gives a rank to few of the members he or she wants to be chosen as the leader, and then all such votes together, they are counted and analyzed according to the single transferable vote system. So whoever has the more number of votes, they are chosen and they get elected. Let us now understand the composition of the Legislative Council. In this, 1/3 are the members of the Vidhan Sabha, so the total composition would always be the same. And also the 1/3 should be the electorates consisting of members of municipalities, district boards, and other local bodies. And the last composition is 1/12. In this electorate consisting of graduates in the states with a standing of 3 years. The fourth one is the 1/12 electorate consisting of teachers of education institutions within the state not lower in standards than a secondary school who have teaching experience of at least 3 years. And remaining, that means about 1/6 members are nominated by the governor from amongst the persons having special knowledge in the sphere of literature, science, art, cooperative movement, and social service. Let us now understand the tenure of Vidhan Parishad. Vidhan Parishad, just like Rajya Sabha, is a permanent house. And this Vidhan Parishad, it never gets dissolved. And the tenure of its member is 6 years. One-third of its members, they retire after every 2 years. And the retiring members are eligible for re-election. In case of vacancy arising out of resignation or death by election, is held for the remaining period of such member's tenure. Let us now understand the chairman of the Legislative Council, how the presiding officers are elected. The presiding officer or the chairman is elected by its all members. And the business of Vidhan Parishad is conducted by the chairman only. The presiding officer presides over the meetings and maintains all the disciplines and orders of the house. And in addition to his vote as a member, he can exercise his casting vote in case of a tie. In his absence, Deputy Chairman presides over the House. He is also elected by the members of the Parishad from amongst themselves. Let us now understand the session of the State Legislature. The State Legislature meets at least twice a year, and the interval between the two sessions cannot be more than 6 months. The governor summons and prorogues the session of the State Legislature. Governor addresses the Vidhan Sabha or both houses at the commencement of the first session after each general election and at the commencement of the first session of the year. Address by the governor reflects the policy statement of the government which is to be discussed in the legislature. And the privileges and immunities of the members of the state legislature are similar to that of members of the parliament. So we discussed the lesson state legislature. Thank you so much.